I do feel pretty good about the progress that we made in the first year. Well, a few different things. As far as the student athletes go, I feel like we have a really great group of guys, good people, and, that's important. I didn't have to deal with a ton of disciplinary situations or anything like that, and that always, as a coach, makes your job a lot easier when you can just focus on coaching and teaching and building a program. A couple things that really impressed me, my assistant coaches, Devin Callahan, who was an alum here and was here on the staff, and he came highly recommended by all of the other faculty and staff members here, and so I was excited to have him stay on board, and he did a really great job. Yeah, no question. I mean, we had a number of sophomores. Jake, obviously, a guy who was out there pretty much playing on one leg, and wasn't with us in the fall because he's on the hockey team and was doing a great job with those guys. And for him to come in and score as many points as he did in the situation that he was in was really impressive. I mean, he's a kid who wants to be successful, and he works hard at it. And I think that's really easy for guys to see. They see him out on the field on his own, working on specific skills, and then going into the game and having success. It's not a complicated formula. So he and Tyler obviously did a great job for us at the faceoffs. Coach Rack really worked a lot with Tyler on his face-off technique, and it's funny because Tyler will tell you he completely transformed the way that he faces off and really started to have some great success towards the end. So we're excited to see his continued development, and I know that he's working hard over the summer and still doing some face-off clinics and really getting some work in to continue to be the best that he can be. As far as the freshmen goes, we got great contributions from all. We only had 4 freshmen, but all 4 of them made some great contributions. Obviously Garrett was a very talented offensive threat. I think he had a hat trick in his first game, and unfortunately ran into some injury problems down the stretch, and then had a illness at the end of the year, so he missed about the last 6 or 7 games. So that obviously hurt us, but Evan Mao and Jack Lombardo both played great, and Evan struggled with a little bit of injury situation as well. Jack was an every game starter. I mean, he was one of our top performers as a freshman, and he's another guy who he really hitched his wagon up to Trevor Ross, and they were working together pretty much every day. And so he found the number 1 defensive guy on our team, decided he wanted to be with that guy and learning, and he really continued to get better throughout the year. And then Peyton was a workhorse for us, played defensive midi, offensive midi, got us some big goals, played some tough situations, and he's just a really good athlete, and I think that he's continuing to learn the game, and as he does, he's only going to get better, and I know that he's set some really high goals for himself. So we were fortunate that while we only had 4 freshmen, all 4 of them made some very strong contributions. I think they did a great job. Obviously, we lost Ed. That was a big one in the fall, and to know that we didn't have him coming in, at least we were able to make that adjustment at that time, and losing Sam Watson, who's the guy that we really thought was going to be a major contributor and was a very strong player for us in the fall, and then for him to not, get to play his senior year, that made a big impact. And then it just seemed like each time we got somebody back, somebody else went down. But the good thing about it is the way that we practice, sometimes having small numbers is good because everybody's getting a ton of reps and everybody's got an opportunity to practice every day. Nobody's missing opportunities. And so when their opportunity came to get in the game, they were at least prepared to. We had guys like Kyle Cardozo, who started out as a defensive midi, ended up on our man up towards the end of the year and scoring goals for us. And so he scored goals in transition. He ran offense for us. We just had some guys that really made some big adjustments for us and stepped up in some big spots. And then a couple guys like Mike Parker, who was a walk-on and just wanted an opportunity to come out and play. And really, towards the end, whenever Tyler was maybe struggling at the face-off or was tired, Mike really worked hard to improve, and he got us some big face-off wins. He did a nice job in our playoff games, playing defensive midi, and fortunately lost him to injury in the end of our playoff game as well, which really put us shorthanded. But that's just one of the things that I really covet is guys that just want to work hard. That you get in, you get your opportunity, make the most of it, and go hard. And so, we play very much a team game. We don't give the ball to one guy, even though on occasion, Matt Rougeau had some really breakout games. But, the good thing about that is when you lose one guy, it doesn't necessarily take everything away. You have a bunch of different guys that, our scoring comes from a lot of different places. And, that's the value of being able to play team lacrosse. And I think that our guys really got a chance to see that. We were really fortunate to have all three guys. There were three guys who got a great ending to their careers. Jesse Barco, who was a defensive midfielder and played some really big roles for us. Really, I think started to, as he gained in confidence, really became an outstanding short stick defensive midfielder, matching up against some of the best guys in the conference and playing very well. As soon as he began to play a little more physically and he got confident with that, he really started to shine. And then got to finish out as an NEILA All New England academic, performer. So it's a great award to get on his, to close out his career. And then obviously Matt Rougeau had an exceptional career, over 100 goals and outstanding performances for many years, and had the 8-goal performance that helped us beat UMass Boston, I think, and just really had a breakout game and just did a great job for us all season, and as a captain and a leader, a guy who really, I think Matt's biggest transformation was in the classroom. I think that he really turned his focus to his academics and realized, the importance of it, and he finished last semester with a 3.1 GPA, and which was a really great improvement for him, and I know that's something he was really proud of, and then got a chance to not only play in the NEILA East-West All-Star game, but which is a all New England Division I, II, and III players, and he got game MVP. Scored 3 goals and was named the MVP of the game. Out there playing with guys from UMass and Providence College and Springfield College and Merrimack, some really good programs. And he went out there and he really made the most of his final opportunity. And he got to play with Trev Ross, who was also did a great job in the game and got a chance to play in the East-West All-Star game. So there's 3 guys who made a major impact here in the program for all 4 years, and then got a chance to really be rewarded for their efforts in their last year. And so I think while they would probably all love to have another year to come back when we're going to have a bigger squad and start getting things turned around here, they certainly left an impact. Like I said, a guy like Trevor who really connected with Jack Lombardo, and that's going to pay off for the next 4 years. Not only that, Jack, adopts one of these young guys coming in and sets that same tone, and that's how a program gets good. And so it's not always on the field that makes the biggest difference, and those guys were great. I was fortunate to have them. It's certainly different. There's some really powerful programs in the Liberty League, and obviously our IT has been the top standard in the conference since they came into the conference. And but there are some similarities as well. While there's one top team that is kind of clearly head and shoulders above, the rest of the teams that really have to battle for each win in every game. And so that's very similar to the Little East, where right now Keene State has been at the top for the last 4 or 5 years, and everybody else is really trying to work hard to catch up to them. And but when it comes to all the other games, any given day, we lost to, we let a game go that we had the lead and command of when we were at Castleton, and they really dug deep and they took it away from us on their home field. And then we came back and we beat the number 2 seed, here on our senior day. So, that is a similarity in the Liberty League, where you can't sleep on anybody on any given day. You got to show up and give your best. And so I don't think that I coach any different. We just want to go out and play hard for 60 minutes. I don't care whether it was in high school, although it was only 48 minutes at that time, or at Trinity or Vassar or here. I think the recipe for success is the same. Is just work really hard, preparation, show up ready to go, and then play hard for 60 minutes and see what happens. And so I think, while the conference is certainly different, the coaching for me doesn't really change. Yeah, Jack is a hard-working kid. I mean, he's a talented lacrosse player, and so he really knows the game, and that helps him a lot. You know, he's a leader on the field. He understands the defensive concepts, so he's able to really relate to the defenders, which obviously helps to make his job easier. If he can help the defenders to keep the shots only from certain areas, then he can focus on those certain areas. And so when it comes to those kind of things, he's really got a high IQ that really helps him be good. And then he works really hard at it. You know, he obviously stepped into a role where he had never been a starter, and you know, started for us in every game, and you know, was exceptional. And you know, had some 20+ save games, and you know, the Plymouth State game had an outstanding performance. You know, the UMass Boston game that we won by 1, you know, he really had some great saves down the end that could have been the difference. And so, and not only that, when we needed him to step out and play some offense, you know, we were shorthanded on offense, and he's just a talented lacrosse player. So, I mean, in that game, you know, we put John Funk in the goal, and we played Jack out on the field, and he scored a goal for us, you know, as a midfielder/attackman. So, you know, I think that his versatility, you know, in really understanding all the aspects of the game helps him be a stronger goaltender. And I know that he really wants to be good. You know, he works hard at it, and he wants to not only be a strong performer, he wants to be a strong leader, and he wants to be a guy that people can come to and look up to. And we're really glad to have him coming back next year. Well, I mean, we'll know a lot more in the fall. We're going to be counting on a lot of new guys. We currently have 21 new guys coming in this next class. So 19 of those guys are coming out of high school, and a couple of transfers that are coming here, some guys that are pretty talented. So we're excited to get, you know, a nice influx of players. You know, the funny thing was this season, there were certain things we just couldn't even do in practice because we didn't have enough guys. We couldn't full field scrimmage. We couldn't ride and clear against pressure. We couldn't do full field drills. Really, everything we did was on the half field. And so to be able to expand that and then practice some of the things that early on we struggled with, you know, clearing against pressure, transition, because we just really couldn't practice it. Now we'll get an opportunity to do those things every day. You know, we'll scrimmage every day, which will give all of the young guys and the returners an opportunity to play together, to kind of stand out, and, you know, to show what they have. And so I'm really a believer that you have to scrimmage at least for 20 minutes, 2 to 3 days a week, so that every kid, top to bottom, gets an opportunity to play and never, you know, has to feel like they're not getting an opportunity to show what they have. And sometimes it's those 20-minute scrimmages where someone really reveals themselves and shows a, you know, strength. So just the numbers alone, but we're pretty excited about the talent level of the kids that are coming in. We've got kids coming in from some very strong programs. We've got a couple Long Island guys. We've got a couple New Jersey guys. We've got guys from New Hampshire, a couple, you know, strong Massachusetts players. So I would say about 60% of the guys we have coming in got some great playoff experience, you know, played on some strong programs. And so all of those things are going to factor in.